Hindrance of Aurobindo from the book The Mother, Part 2, Letters on the Mother by Our Lord, Chapter 6, Working of the Mother's Force, page 152, new topic, Hindrance of the Active Mind. Question. My mind was trying to become conscious of the mother's thoughts and to receive them. Is this activity right? Sri Aurobindo says it is not altogether the way. If the mind is inactive, it is more difficult to become aware of what the mother is bringing. It is not thoughts she brings, but the higher light, force, etc. Date 22nd March 1933. Question. Today I felt the mother filling my head with her light. Was I imagining things or did she really do so? Sri Aurobindo says she does it every time. Only today you not only received but were consciously receptive. Date 8th May 1933. Next topic, understanding of the action of the mother's force. Question. Is it always necessary for us to understand what the mother's force is doing in us for the progress of our yoga? Sri Aurobindo says, plenty of people progress rapidly without understanding what the force is doing. They simply observe and describe and say, I leave all to the mother. Eventually, knowledge and understanding come. Date 17th July 1933. Question. With reference to the mother, you once said, ask for the consciousness of her force. Does it mean that I should aspire to know about her force? Sri Aurobindo says, yes, not with the mind only, but to feel it and see it with the inner experience. Date 18th June 1933. Question. Suppose I am in a fix and call down the mother's force which is above me. Now, how am I to know whether or not it has descended? Sri Aurobindo says, by feeling it or the result. Date 26th June 1933. Question. Grant that it has descended and I have started doing my lessons. Could I then order it to guard me from outer influences and simultaneously keep me in complete touch with the mother even when my mind is occupied in some other work? Sri Aurobindo says, you can't order anything to the mother's force. The mother's force is the manifestation of the mother herself. Date 26th June 1933. Question. I am unable to understand how this force can deal with action. Sri Aurobindo says, you think the mother's force has nothing to do with the action, or that is too feeble to act, or what? What is a force meant for but to act? Date 26th June 1933. Next topic, mixture of the lower nature with the mother's force. Question. As to the force, you said it creates its own activities in the mind or elsewhere. In that case, the mind or any other part on which it acts will express only what the force has created. Sri Aurobindo says, that is the ideal condition when the force is the true force only, but there is too much mixture in the nature for that to be possible at this stage of the sadhana. Date 3rd August 1934. Question. In that case, does it mean that what my consciousness feels as the force is not the real force of the mother? For the Sri Aurobindo says, I have said that it gets mixed with the action of the present mind, vital, and body. That is inevitable since it has to work upon them. It is only after the transformation that it can be fully the mother's force with no mixture of the separate personality. If the divine force in all its perfection without mixture were to act from the beginning, not taking any account of the present nature, then there would be no sadhana, only a miraculous substitution of the divine for the human without any reason or process. Date 4th August 1934. Next topic, necessity of discrimination. Sri Aurobindo says it is dangerous to think of giving up all barrier of discrimination and defense against what is trying to descend upon you. Have you thought what this would mean if what is descending is something not in consonance with the divine truth, perhaps even adverse? An adverse power would ask no better condition for getting control over the seeker. It is only the mother's force and the divine truth that one should admit without barriers. And even there, one must keep the power of discernment in order to detect anything false that comes masquerading as the mother's force and the divine truth, and keep too the power of rejection that will throw away all mixture. Keep faith in your spiritual destiny, draw back from error, and open more the psychic being to the direct guidance of the Mother's light and power. If the central will is sincere, each recognition of a mistake can become a stepping stone to a truer moment and a higher progress. Question: how to recognize that a particular thought, feeling, or impulse to action has come from the mother herself and not from some universal force? If it is apparently of falsehood, it can be recognized as such, but there are many others of a different character, and sometimes one goes on thinking that they are prompted by the mother from within, even though they are not. Sri Aurobindo says for that, it can only be done by discrimination, care, sincerity, a constant control with regard to the mind's movements and the growth of a certain kind of psychic tact which detects any mental imitation or false suggestions of its being the mother's. Date 27th April 1933.